Hi friends, I'm the Reverend Terry Peterson, minister of St. John's in Guruk. Today is Saturday, the 6th of March, the 16th day in the season of Lent. So it is time for our 16th object. Today's object is money. Whether you have paper notes or coins, or maybe all you've got is your bank card, or maybe you even have a piggy bank. Mine is full of 1 and 2p because those are harder to use. So whenever I get them, I pop them in here, and I keep hoping that one day I'll be able to open it up and find, I don't know, enough for a coffee or something. But whatever form of money you might have handy, that's our object for today. Sometimes we get caught up in misunderstanding about what money is for. Of course, money's a construct, right? We created it as a society to make it easier to trade, particularly when many of us no longer make things that are suitable for bartering. They help us to money helps us to procure things when we need them, like food, shelter, utilities, things like that. Money is also for sharing, for giving away, for buying gifts, and for helping others who are in need. So there is a lot of talk of money in the Bible. It is probably the most common topic of conversation between God and people. How we use our resources for the good of others mainly is the perhaps even primary problem that comes up over and over and over again. So it's actually a wee bit hard to choose just one thing to think about, but we're going to talk today about one of the most commonly known of those stories, another one where the phrasing from it has come into common usage, but we don't always think clearly about what it actually means. So this is from Mark chapter 12, the very end of the chapter. Jesus sat down opposite the treasury and watched the crowd putting money into the treasury. Many rich people put in large sums. A poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, which are worth a penny. Then he called his disciples and said to them, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all those who are contributing to the treasury. For all of them have contributed out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty has put in everything she had, all she had to live on." So the story of the widow's mite is one that has found its way into popular usage. We talk about a widow's mite, a small offering that means a lot to someone. But I think then we miss a couple of things in the story. First of all, remember the context. This is the temple treasury, so this is people making an offering at church, basically. So when they come to make their offering, some people are putting in large sums, and others, this woman in particular, puts in only these two copper coins worth a penny, so half a p each. Why is it obvious what other people are putting into the treasury? How can you sit there and know just how much someone has put in? Today, of course, we give our offerings more in secret than that. We've got, bags or plates or contactless or whatever, standing orders, so no one but the church treasurer knows how much you've given. But clearly the people who are making large gifts are doing so in such a way that it's very obvious that they're making a large gift. So it's clear that they have an abundance and they are giving what's left. Whereas this woman gives all she has. Now, we praise this as if it's something that we aspire to, when the reality is almost none of us are willing to give everything. I think we should be honest about that we are not willing to give everything we have. And in fact, we are more likely to be the people who give what's left over after we have met all of our needs and all or most of our desires. And then if we have more after that, we will give it. So I think we should be clear about who in the story we are here. I also think we should be clear about the purpose of the temple treasury. The temple treasury was for obviously sustaining the activities of the temple, keeping the priests fed and clothed, because they weren't allowed in the original system. The temple priests weren't allowed to own land. They didn't have their own section of the promised land as a tribe. They were meant to be sustained by the temple, by the offerings people brought, both in terms of animals and money. So that's part of it. But the other primary purpose of the temple treasury was to take care of the immigrant, the orphan, and the widow, to take care of the people who are marginalized and poor and in need and vulnerable. So when the marginalized, vulnerable person comes and puts in everything they have into the temple treasury, that tells us that she believed in the mission of caring for others. Like just 2 little coins would make a difference in both her spiritual life and in the way that she contributed to community caring for others. So I want to know whether the temple treasury actually did its job and cared for her. Did it take or give or both? So what we have for resources, when we use these things, they are meant to be a way that we can take care of others and ourselves. It's not just for having. If it was just for having, then the woman wouldn't have bothered bringing it to the treasury. But we need to think carefully about our understanding of what these are for in our lives and what hold they have on us, and whether we are willing to use our resources as a spiritual gift or only for our sort of status building, our egos. Because I think that's the difference in the people here. The issue is not how much people gave, the issue is how they gave it, which is not to say that if we have an abundance, we should give only the 2 coins, but with a generous heart, because that's not it either, right? She gave everything she had, trusting that the system would also take care of her. So can we give in that sort of spirit, not just what's left, but what we're called to give, trusting that the system will also take care of us if we become in need? That is behind John the Baptist's preaching. It's behind much of Jesus's preaching. It's all over the Old Testament. It's all over Paul. So there's not really anywhere we can go away from the fact that we're meant to use our monetary resources in such a way that the whole community can be cared for, including ourselves, not after ourselves. So it's another hard one today. There's a lot to think about when we think about how we use our money and how it uses us. So not exactly a light and fun weekend thought, but it is what it is, right? So there we have it, day 16 of Lent. Tomorrow is Sunday, so technically not a part of the season of Lent, which is why our online services will be labeled the third Sunday in Lent, not the third Sunday of Lent, because there are no Sundays of Lent, but there are Sundays that happen during the season of Lent. So tomorrow will be a fun service, I hope. So I look forward to worshiping with you tomorrow, and then we will be back with more objects on Monday. So until then, peace be with you.